years of 2017 is a crisis of legitimacy of the traditional sites of authority. Crisis of legitimacy of the traditional sites of authority, be it political parties, be it university leadership, be it business. Civil society is not far away from a similar crisis of legitimacy. And if that happens, pardon my language, I'll say this for emphasis, we are in the deep in the Because at the moment, civil society has been a voice that has been saying to people, we can use the courts, we can use the Constitution, we can use our democratic rights to protest. The Constitution is very important. Use these means. Increasingly, people are saying, who are you? Who are you? You are part of the elite that has failed us. That's what people are saying. A few days ago, I was in Cape Town giving a lecture, what I thought was going to be a friendly lecture to a friendly audience. It was called How Effective is the Constitution, to about 50 young people at an activist school in Cape Town. And I faced like serious headwind about the Constitution. The Constitution is a sellout. Constitution is a total sellout. It has done nothing for us as black people. Come and live with me in Khayelitsha. Come and sit in my toilet and tell me about the Constitution. Come and live with the crime that I live with and tell me the Constitution. And I said, okay, so what would you like to do? Would you like to tear the Constitution up? And people said, yes. I said, okay, when you've torn the Constitution up, what are you going to replace it with? Well, we don't know. Well, what will order society? Well, we don't care. What we want to do is we want to go into the center of Cape Town and burn and draw attention to this crisis. And there's a few steps further than the crisis that we're in today, and that is that. We've seen the fraying at the edges with the universities, with the fees must fall movement, with people who've rejected the notion that you can use the courts, that you can use peaceful means of protest, etc. When those edges fray further, when school students who have a far worse lot than university students start saying, we don't respect the authority of the principal any longer, or when people in informal settlements say, we don't respect any authority any longer, we're going to have a very difficult job to pull it back. So I'm not sure what I'm saying, except to say that I think we're in a time of, we're in a very parlous time. What I'm saying is that sitting in this room, we're all the elite. Soon nobody will listen to us. Soon nobody, doesn't matter if we're clever, if we've got ideas, whatever. We are culpable in the crisis that is engulfing ordinary people out there. And they don't want to listen to us much longer. And that's what I see on a day-to-day basis. I would love it if this little group of people and a few more people locked ourselves in a room for a few days and said, let's find some solutions, because there are some solutions to be found. Let's find some quick fixes that hold out hope to people, that make people think that actually we do care a little bit about what is going on out there. What can we do that shows that we do care whilst we deal with some of the more knotty issues that face us? And why I wouldn't despair is that I think there's an enormous amount of little things that can be done immediately. Again, pardon my anecdote, but I was in the Free State a couple of weeks ago, and I was actually there to run. And I stayed at this place in the Golden Gate Park, and Sand Parks has just done up this thing called the Basuti Cultural Village. And after being there for 2 days, I saw there was a little shop up there, and it was selling arts and crafts and stuff. So I went up, and there was some beautiful arts and crafts in there. And I picked them up off the shelf, and I went to pay, and they said, we don't have internet connection here. So you can't buy. I said, I don't have any cash. Well, okay, sorry. So then I put my 600 Rand worth of arts and crafts back on the shelves and walk away. That's possibly one of the only sources of economy in that little area. Something as simple to fix as that would restore hope to a bunch of people. And there's probably 1,000 little things like that that can be done that will restore our legitimacy, whilst bigger, knotty things like how we sort out the crisis in basic education, which in my view is the #1 issue that we should all be applying our minds to in this country, and which we can fix while we deal with those things. But civil society, it's not about protest. Civil society uses protest, but that is what you see as the tip of our iceberg. On a day-to-day basis, we research, we think, we work on solutions, we talk to people, we keep giving people hope, etc., etc., but I'm getting worried. People are saying to us, why are you focusing only on President Zuma? I want to take the question seriously. There are many other societal problems. And is getting rid of President Zuma going to solve the problems? Getting rid of President Zuma is not going to solve all of the country's problems. But getting rid of President Zuma is now a prerequisite to beginning deep change to this country and to putting this country back on track. And that is why, as Save South Africa, we are asking why we've started this people's motion of no confidence in the president. It's very different from a party, political-driven motion of no confidence in the president, and why we are urging all of you in here to sign that petition. I don't mind to tell you that we want several million signatures on that petition by February next year. I'm saying that at risk of great failure, but in the hope that people will rise to the call. And Nicola, I just want to make this point on this, is that we are very close, as I think Cass and Jabu and Barbara would all agree, to becoming a failed state because of a failed president. And yet, there is absolutely no need for us to be a failed state. We have none of the normal characteristics of a failed state. We have robust civil society. We have robust business. We have
freedom of the press.
Freedom of the press. We have one of the best constitutions in the world. We have a far-sighted judiciary. We have natural resources. We have human resources. Why should we be failed as a state? And we have, and let me say this, people in government whom we can be extremely proud of. Great people capable of leading our country and unifying our country. Instead, we have a president who is dividing us and demoralizing us and corrupting us. That's why I ask you to join with us to say that this person must go democratically. Let me just make that clear.